Namaste. Welcome to Revision with Vrithi. Today we will start our 4th standard English course book, that is Collins English Expert Course Book by Safa Abdul Razak and Sonia Dugal. Today we will start our first lesson, a different kind of dragon. Let's start. Reading. Do you believe in monsters? Long ago, the people of Brno, a city in Europe, were troubled by a water monster. Read their story to find out what happened when one of the fishermen decided to deal with it. Long ago, a horrible monster lived in the swamps between the two rivers that meet at Brno, rivers Svitava and Sratka. No one had ever seen this monster, but the people knew it was there because many of those who entered the marshes or even went down to the river sometimes never came back. Their bodies were never found, and their families never knew what had happened to them. This lesson is about a monster in Brno, Europe. Long ago, monster lived in the swamps between two rivers. Swamps means Jaugu Pradesha, means extremely wet land. Okay? But no one had seen this monster. But those who entered the swamps, they never came back. So people believed that there is a monster in the river. Understood? Sometimes late at night, people who passed by the swamp as they hurried home heard a dreadful roaring sound, and they went even faster because they feared that the monster would grab them and crunch their bones in seconds. Sometimes late night, near the swamps, they heard a dreadful roaring sounds. Okay? So, ತುಂಬ ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಎಗೋ ಒಂದು ನದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹಾರಿಬಲ್ ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಜನ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆ ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನ ಯಾರೂ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಡ್ರೆಡ್ಫುಲ್ ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಿದ್ರು ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಜೌಗು ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಜನ ಅದನ್ನು ಡ್ರೆಡ್ಫುಲ್ ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸತಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ರೋರಿಂಗ್ ಸೌಂಡ್, ಕೂಗುವಂಥ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಸಹ ಕೇಳ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? Since no one had seen the monster and survived, no one knew what kind of monster it was, so they called it a dragon. But it was probably a different kind of dragon. because it was not known to fly, and it did not breathe fire, and it did not stray very far from the water. All we have to do is keep away from the rivers and we will be safe, they said among themselves. So actually, no one had seen this monster and they don't know how it looks. So the people called it as a dragon. But it is a different kind of dragon. Why? Because it was not flying, it was not breathing fire, and it was not moving. So it's a different. Usually dragon means what? If we saw dragon means what? It flies and it spray fire. So all these things, right? But here nothing is there. It's a calm dragon. Understood? So ಏನಾಯ್ತಂತೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಇರೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಜನ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರು ಒಂದೊಂದು ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಜನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್. ಅದೊಂಥರ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಅದು ಹಾರಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಬೆಂಕಿ ಉಗುಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಆದರೆ ಈ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಹಾರಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಂಕಿನ ಉಗುಳಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಜನ ಏನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಸೊ ನದಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ದೂರ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನಾವು ಸೇಫ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? That is true, but we need the water from the rivers. We can't live without it. So they kept going down to the river, to the water, and they kept losing their lives. The monster would suddenly dart out and grab unsuspecting people, or it would pounce on animals that strayed to the rivers. The monster terrified the people for many years. No one was safe in Brno. We have to get rid of the dragon, said the mayor of the town. Whoever kills the dragon and brings its body to me will get a bag of gold coins. So, what happened? Some people said we have to keep away from the river, but actually they can't because they need water to live. That's why people start going to the river. But if they go there, they will not come back. So, seeing this, mayor announced that those who killed the dragon, they will be awarded a bag of gold coin. Okay. So, actually ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ನದಿಯಿಂದ ದೂರ ಇರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ನದಿಯಿಂದ ದೂರ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನೀರಿನ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಹೋದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದ ಮೇಯರ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಟೌನಿನ ಮೇಯರ್, ಯಾರು ಆ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನನ್ನು ಸಾಯಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಫುಲ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? For a long time, no one volunteered. Then, at last, a fisherman who had not been able to work close to home for years for fear of the monster, said that he would get rid of the monster. He had grown tired of having to row far away from town to safer places, and also places where there were fish left because the monster ate everything it found, and it seems to be like fish a lot. He had also grown tired of mooring his boat in safe place far from town and far from his small hut. So what happened? So no one came forward to kill the dragon. At last, a fisherman agreed to kill it. Why? Because he was tired of going far places for fishing, and sometimes he can't get fish also. So he decided to kill this dragon. Okay? So ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಅವರು ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯಾರು ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಸಾಯಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ಫಿಶರ್ಮನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಸಾಯಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ? ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅವನ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್, ಅವನ ಕೆಲಸವೇ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅದನ್ನು ಆ ರಿವರ್, ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ ಇರೋ ರಿವರನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವನು ದೂರದ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಸಾಯಿಸುವ ಅಂತ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? The fisherman didn't tell anyone how he would do it, but he thought of something. He loaded his boat with the carcass of a goat and a bucket of caustic lime. "What are you doing?" cried his wife when he told her where he was going. "The monster will get you." "I have a plan," said the fisherman. "The monster will surely smell the blood of goat and it will come to my boat." "What?" wailed his wife. "And you think you can fight in single-handedly with that bucket as a weapon?" So he did not tell anything about his plan. He take a dead body of a goat. Carcass means dead body. Okay, dead body of a goat and a bucket of caustic lime. Okay. What is caustic lime? Caustic lime is here it is there. Caustic lime is a chemical that is used in the industries to melt the things or for cleaning purpose. ಓಕೆ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹೀ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟು ಕಿಲ್ ದ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್. So his wife asked about his plan. He told that monster definitely come to near my boat for the smell of the blood. When it opens its mouth to eat goat, I will throw the bucket of caustic lime. Okay. ಏನು ಅವನು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಿರಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅವನ ಹೆಂಡತಿಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ ಏನಿದು ಅಂಥೇಳಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ತನ್ನ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅವನೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಗೋಟ್ ಡೆಡ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಗೋಟಿನ ಬಾಡಿನ ತಿನ್ನಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಅದು ಮೌತ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಈ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಲೈಮನ್ನು ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ, ಆ ಬಕೆಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ. "The bucket is the key," replied the fisherman. "When the monster opens its mouth and grabs the goat, I will throw the bucket of caustic lime in as well, and its inside will soon burn up and dissolve." So when it eats, it dissolves, it burns. Okay. "Why can't you fill the goat with caustic lime and leave it on the river bank? Why do you have to go there?" "I don't know. how long the monster will take to attack. If the caustic lime is in the goat, there will soon be nothing left of the goat. I have to take this risk, or I will never be able to fish in these rivers again. His wife asked that, why can't you fill caustic lime to the dead body of the goat and we have to keep it in the river bank? It will come and it will eat. But he told that we don't know when it will come and when it will eat. So we had to take the risk to go and throw this caustic lime in its mouth itself. Okay. ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಲೈಮ್ ಡೆಡ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾವು ತುಂಬಿ ನದಿ ದಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ ಅದೇ ಬಂದು ತಿನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಂದು ತಿಂತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದು ಬರೋಲ್ಲವರಿಗೆ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಈ ರಿಸ್ಕನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದು ಬರುವ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಲೈಮನ್ನು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Understood? Then I will come with you, declared his wife. The fisherman protested, but his wife would not listen to him. She got into the boat and would not move. At last, tired of arguing, the two of them set out in the boat. Look sharp, whispered the fisherman. So his wife decided to go with him. He protested, but she didn't listen. When they arguing, they saw, believe me, so when they arguing, they saw something moving quickly under the water. Okay, so ಅವನು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವಳೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ನಾನು ಸಹ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅವನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅವಳು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಬರ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅವರು ಹಾಗೆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಅವರ ಬೋಟ್ ಕೆಳಗಿಂದ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್, ಸೆಡ್ ದ ಫಿಶರ್ಮ್ಯಾನ್. He edged the carcass of the goat halfway over the rim of the boat so that monster would have to open its mouth wide to grab it and drag it away. Then he got ready with the bucket. Meanwhile, his wife, who could not allow her husband to do this alone, lifted up the sturdy oar in her hands and waited. She was ready to give the monster a hard hit on its head, and if something her husband had planned didn't work. So then he pushed the carcass of the goat over the rim of the boat. Meanwhile, his wife, what she did? She lifted an oar in her hand to hit the monster. When monster hit the monster. Understood? But luckily it did. The monster came towards the boat with its huge jaws wide open. Before it could grab the part of the goat that was trailing in the water, the fisherman threw the contents of the bucket directly into the gaping mouth. The monster clamped its jaw shut and jerked away, but it had caught a part of the goat. When monster came towards the boat and opened its mouth to eat the goat, what he did? He threw the caustic lime to its mouth. Monster closed its mouth and jerked away. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅವರು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಬರ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದು ಗೋಟನ್ನು ತಿನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವಾಗ ಇವನು ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಲೈಮನ್ನು ಅದ್ರ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೊರಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? The boat rocked crazily as the goat was dragged overboard. The fisherman and his wife held on for dear life. They hoped that the monster would feel the effects of the caustic lime before it came up once more and overturned the boat. So here the boat became uncontrolled, and fisherman and his wife hold it tightly, and they are making balance of it. Frantically, with strength they didn't even know they had, they rowed towards the shore. They paid no attention to the wild thrashing that was taking place in the water as they sped away. When they climbed out of the boat at last, they ran to high ground and then looked down at the water. A huge long shape was floating by lifeless. It worked, cried Fisherman. We killed the monster. So, when the boat became uncontrolled and fisherman and his wife hold it tightly, okay, with all the strength, they rowed the boat towards the shore. After reaching shore, they saw a huge shape was floating by lifeless. So they shouted happily. The two of them screamed and jumped and cried triumphantly, and people who from Brno began to come to the riverside to see why they were making such a noise. When the others saw the huge body floating away, they grabbed rakes and sticks and tried to catch it and bring it to the shore to see what kind of dragon it was. They dragged out a huge dead crocodile. And of course, the brave fisherman and his wife got their bag of gold coins. More importantly, the people of Brno were now free to go down to the rivers whenever they wanted. So, what happened? They were very happy and they called the people also. And the people tried to catch it with the rakes and sticks to see what kind of a dragon it was. And what is this? It was a crocodile, finally. But for their effort, they got a coins. Understood? This is the lesson of a different kind of dragon. Okay? Tomorrow, we will see the book back exercise of this lesson. Thank you.